Unfortunately, many of us now are dealing with loss and with grief, either on a personal level or as a collective. So I wanted to take the next several episodes to discuss the topic of life and death from a Torah perspective, as well as how to cope with the emotions and the questions that come along with it. There's a beautiful metaphor that I've really taken a liking to, of these twins speaking in the womb. And of course, the womb is all they know. It's a very confined, limited form of existence, but they don't know anything else. And one of the twins asks the other, one of the fetuses asks the other, hey, do you believe in life after delivery? And the other one responds, yeah, of course I believe in life after delivery. I think that we're basically just developing here, but once we're fully developed, we're going to go on to something bigger and better. And the first one says, well, that's absurd. There's nothing beyond this. There's no life beyond this. That you cease to exist after this. If there's life after delivery, how come no one's ever come back? Right? And the first one says, well, I think life after delivery, you get to meet mom. And so the first one says, oh, you believe in mom? That's crazy. Where is this mom? Right? And he says, where is mom? Mom is all around us. Mom sustains us. Mom gives us life. Right? Mom is everything. He says, well, I don't believe in mom. I've never seen mom and I've never heard mom. So, I can't possibly believe in something like that. The conclusion, as you can imagine, the first of the twins is born, and for us, that's a celebration, right? This is what we've been waiting for. But for the twin left in the womb, it's a tragedy. A twin who doesn't believe in life after delivery, so he just lost his only friend, right? Now, we're celebrating, and in fact, we know that the other twin's going to be here in 3 minutes. But from where they are right now, right, all they experience is loss, and it's a product of their limited perspective, their limited perception of the universe. Their whole perception of the world is confined to this tiny, restricted mode of existence. There's nothing beyond this womb. You can't move, you can't do, you can barely think, you don't know. You have no idea, no perception beyond your confined space. You can't begin to imagine what's waiting. And so if this is everything to you, then of course, this seems devastating. Of course, it's just a stage. There's something much more glorious than you could ever imagine waiting for you. And those who we lose, they're not gone. They're in that magical place, and we'll join them soon enough. A reality which is so above and beyond what we're in now that we could barely fathom it. So it's a very, very beautiful metaphor. I think it works on a lot of levels, and I find it's an extremely comforting way to relate to death. It's not a Jewish metaphor, but I think that it works very well with some of the Jewish presumptions and perspectives on life or death. In many of the celebrated thinkers, you can find this almost natural presumption of the continuity of life as something which is simply logical. And the Rabbeinu B'chaya actually comments on a famous question of why Olam Haba, the next world, isn't in the Torah. There's a lot of answers to this question, but Rabbeinu B'chaya says it didn't need to be said. You're not your body. You are your divine spirit. And so why would you assume that when the body dies or ceases to exist, your divine spirit would? In fact, the worst punishment the Torah speaks about is karet, right? Being disconnected, cut off from God eternally, right? So it sounds like the default is that you have an eternal connection with God if you don't receive karet. And the Maharal says something very similar, where he says, the divine spirit in us predates the body that we were put in. You can see this in Bereshit. God crafted this body and just blows life into it, but when the body returns to the dust, the soul is going to return to God. It's almost a reasonable presumption. Where else would it go, right? You're more than just that physical specimen. So when the physical specimen dies, so where else would it go? And it's a very comforting idea, but it does also imply that you can lose that to some degree, at least, through karet, right? So you can be disconnected from this natural continuity of life in some way. And that's probably what Chazal meant when they said, tzadikim be-mitatam nikreim chayim, ve'rishaim b'chayim nikreim meitim. So the righteous in their death are considered alive, and the wicked in their lives are considered death. So you can understand this very symbolically, metaphorically, the impact that the righteous live on even when they're not here. Or you could take it a little bit more literally, which is that life is not a temporary state of being, right? Life is an eternal state of being, meaning you may be in this world for a temporary period of time. You may be in this body for a temporary period of time, but fundamentally, life is an eternal state of being together with God unless you lose that opportunity. And if you lose that opportunity, it's not just that you lose it in death. Even in life, you lose it. Life is about more than breathing. Life is about more than thinking, right? Life is about an eternal existence together with God. Right? You're here for a brief part of that, right? But that by no means is life. And I think it's not even how the Torah uses the word, as far as I can tell. The Torah doesn't seem to use the word chaim to describe a temporary existence here on earth. Right? Adam is told in Gan Eden that the day he eats from the Eitz Hadat, he's going to die. But he doesn't, right? But on that day, he ruins his relationship with God. Right, and similarly, we're told, Klal Yisrael is told in the Midbar, I've put before you life and good and death and bad, and then subsequently we're told choose life. So it's strange, meaning life seems to be a default, not something that you choose. You choose good. That's what you would have expected the Torah to say. I put before you life and good, choose good, but it doesn't. It says choose life, right? Life, from the Torah's perspective, is this eternal existence that we have together with God. It predated our body, and it will exist beyond our body, but it is at least moderately dependent upon the decisions that we made in this life to do what's right and to follow in God's footsteps and to live out an exemplary lifestyle in the image of God. And then, for us, there is no end to this life. And certainly, just to get a little bit more pertinent to the time, someone who was lost, protecting Klal Yisrael, defending the state of Israel. We never glorify death, but in terms of honored and respected ways to go, this is a tremendous purpose to be served, and they're waiting for their friends and their loved ones, in a world that we can't even begin to imagine, in an unconfined world together with God that we can't begin to imagine, right? And ultimately, we hope to join them and be reunited with them in the future.